Experience is a hard teacher because she gives you the test first and the lesson afterwards. Hey guys, it's Marissa from Pittsburgh Fit, and today's nutrition tip is going to be about coffee. So when you drink your coffee, you want to kind of have it finished within that 1 hour time span. And the reason is because any caffeinated drink is a diuretic, which means any water that you're taking in while also drinking something with caffeine in it, you're also peeing it out. So if you can keep your intake between 1 hour and 2 hours, because I know some people like to sip on it all morning, that's okay, and then start drinking, switch to water afterwards.
All right guys, I'm Anthony. I'm gonna take you through the workout portion of today's PF Go effort. We're gonna start our warm up with 2 rounds of 10 Medball deadlifts, strict presses, and ground overhead. Now, Medball deadlifts, we're gonna spread the feet a little bit wider apart than a traditional deadlift. Fingertips pointed straight down to the ground, gently tap that med ball and stand up. Your focus is on keeping those elbows nice and straight through all 10 reps. Now what we're gonna do is a quick curl, fingertips pointed straight up in the sky. We're gonna press that up overhead and lower it back down. At the bottom, it should touch your chest and you should just barely be able to see over top of it. Now our last exercise is ground to overhead. Remember we talked about keeping those arms straight in the deadlifts? Here at the bottom, arms stay nice and straight until you've stood all the way up, then you pull the arms and snap that thing up and overhead. So we have a deadlift, strict press, and then we mash them together for a ground to overhead. So we have 2 rounds of 10 deadlifts, strict presses, and ground to overhead. Then we'll move on to push presses, up downs on the med ball, and med ball skater hops. Now med ball push presses. These are nice and easy. Fingertips pointed up, dip and drive, dip and drive. Good, as you progress through, we have a short, shallow dip, 1 inch, 2 inches at most. Use the legs to propel that weight up and overhead. Now here we wanna make sure that you have a nice firm medicine ball. You're gonna put it on the ground, your hands are gonna be a little bit closer, and then you stand it back up. We use that med ball for a little bit of balance and stand up. If you think this is way too easy for you, when you kick back, only kick back with 1 foot and try and stay balanced that way. Make sure you try it with a little bit of room around you. Now, med ball skater hops. We're gonna use these 2 lines to demonstrate. I want you to hold it in your hands this way. So what I want is we're gonna load up 1 leg. So stand on your left leg, that ball is gonna come down towards your left hip. So what you're gonna do is jump, bring it across your face and to the other side. And across, and across, and across. Good. So over and back is gonna be 1. We're gonna do 10 med ball skater hops. You wanna tuck that ball in tight, really engage the obliques and the lateral side of your core to work on some muscles that we don't normally get a chance to beat up. Then we'll take a breather, slow your heart rate down a little bit, then we have push presses, up downs, and skater hops with the med ball 1 more time. Now while the fun is over, we're gonna move on to some strength training. We have every 2 minutes for 6 sets for a total of 12 minutes. We have 4 strict presses, 2 push presses, and 1 push jerk. Now, strict presses, we should be really familiar with these. Just like in the medicine ball press, the elbows are down, your fingertips would be pointing straight up, except you gotta hold on to that bar. So we have 4 reps, pressing up, locking out, and lowering back down. This should by far be the hardest part of the complex. Now we'll dip and drive, lock out, lower back down, dip and drive again. Cool, now those should go by super easy because your arms are tired, so we have the legs to help you out. Now the push jerk. We have a dip and a drive, and then we have a dip again, and you stand back up. Dip, drive, dip, and then stand it back up. This move is the most complicated. Think about jumping as high as you can and then just landing nice and soft. That's how the push jerk works. If you can punch those arms out before you land on the ground, even better. What we want you to do is this complex is gonna be repeated 6 times every 2 minutes, so you have a lot of rest time in between. Increase the weight between each set. Focus on one thing, usually that means the push jerks, and use this 6 sets to get better and better and better at the push jerks. We'll use the strict press to get stronger, we'll use the push jerks to get better at technique. Now after our 12 minutes is up, we're gonna move to a 20-minute conditioning piece. Every 4 minutes for 5 sets, 20 sit-ups, 20 med ball ground to overhead, 10 hand release push-ups, and 10 shoulder to overhead. Now, sit-ups. We're gonna lay down on our backs with an ab mat underneath. You want to touch the floor over your head, touch your feet in between. We're going to recommend you do these in a butterfly position. The movement finishes when your hands touch your feet. It starts when your hands touch the ground overhead. Now we have med ball ground and overhead. We're going to stand up, tap the ground in between the legs, and snap them up and overhead. I don't want to beat these to death here. You guys know how to do these. We just snap them up and touch the ground at the bottom. Now 10 hand release push-ups. We're gonna go to a push-up position, lower down to our chest hits, squeeze those shoulder blades together so that your hand comes off the floor, and then we'll press it back out. That's how we want to do it. Those should be the most physically demanding part of the workout today. When your push-ups get tired, those slow down really fast. So don't be afraid to drop to your knees or make some sort of modifications. Now our last exercise is we're gonna need a barbell or dumbbells. We have shoulder to overhead. So we're gonna snap that weight up. Shoulder to overhead means you could do strict presses, or you could do push presses, or you could do push jerks, or you could do split jerks. Now, which one should you do? Well, you should probably choose between two movements. You should probably either do a push press or a push jerk, because the conditioning pieces that we normally do here are about efficiency. So the push press is a good way to start because it's the fastest, but you get to use a little bit more arms. As your arms get more and more fatigued, we'll switch over to the push jerk, which is a little slower, but more efficient and effective to allow you to do more rounds. 20 sit-ups, 20 med ball ground to overhead, 10 hand release push-ups, 10 shoulder to overhead, then rest. Whatever time you have left over is all yours. Rest, hang out, grab a sip of water, then at the start of the next 4-minute round, hit it hard, hit it fast, and get after it. Love to know how you felt after all 5 rounds. This one's definitely a long one. Let us know in the comments below. Have a great workout and a great rest of your day.